What's going on? How are you doing? My name's David the Crook, and today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to show you how to mix young pinch type vocals. I have this song here. It's by the official Izzy. It's called Gonna Be Alright. The song's already out. I'll put the link in the description so you guys can check it out. It's a really good song. I'm going to play the hook and part of the verse so you can get the feel of the song. The song's already mixed, but I'm going to take all the plugins on. I'm going to show you how to do it from scratch. So I'm going to play from here.
Said there's money on my head, yeah, I know they want me dead. They ain't with that action, shawty, they just all upset. Girl, we gon' be alright. We gon' be alright. And girl, I finna hate you, cause shawty tryna date me. You is the only one that never tried to play me. Girl, we gon' be alright. We gon' be alright. It's gon' be fine. I've been running up a bag, I've been getting mine. Once a copper foreign, then we scoring. Went from copying Walmart tees to Ralph Lauren.
So that's part of the hook and a little bit of the verse. I'll put the link in the description so you guys can check out the song. It's a really good song. But before we get into the video, I want to remind you to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I post a video. And comment down below what your go-to vocal mixing plugins are. So when it comes to mixing young pinch type vocals, what you want to do is you want to have a nice clean recording, and that's in general every time you mix vocals. When it comes to his style and how his voice sounds, you want to take out a lot of the low end, the bass from the artist's voice, and you want to make sure you have nice crispy high end in the higher frequencies, and that allows the vocals to punch through the mix more, and it just makes it sound good overall. And then you want to have a good amount of auto-tune on the vocals also. So when it comes to mixing young pinch type vocals, the first thing I like to do is put a compressor. Now the compressor I'm going to be using is a compressor by Waves. It's called the R compressor. Now the reason I like using this compressor is just because this compressor is amazing. I love what this compressor does and how it makes the vocal sound. It adds a little bit of color to the vocals, but it adds just enough where it's not noticeable, but it does make a difference. Now since it's going to be the first thing on the chain, I'm going to put a 2-to-1 compression, and that's just to balance out the vocals. And I'm gonna put threshold down. I'm gonna leave the attack and the release the same. I'm not gonna worry about that. Now I'm just adding a subtle compression. I'm not doing too much compression because I will be adding another compressor later on, and I just want to get a little bit less than 3 dB of compression. I'm not going to bring up the gain. I'm just going to leave it like that. Now the next thing I like to do is add a channel strip EQ. Like I said, you want to take out a lot of the low end from the voice and boost the high, so I'll do that. Now, since this is going to be the first EQ that I've used, I'm only going to boost about a dB. I'll actually put it at 0.5. I took out about 144 hertz from the low end, and I brought down some of the low mids, and I brought down at 400 because that's where the boxing is from the mic that I used when I recorded him. I also brought down about 235, just a little bit more of the bass. The next thing I want to add is one of my favorite plugins by Waves, and it's a SSL channel strip by Waves. Now the reason I like using this plugin is for the color that it adds to the vocal and the EQ curve that it has built in within the channel strip. It just makes the vocals sound amazing. Now I'm gonna cut some of the low end also, and then I'm gonna use the compression and boost some of the highs. Now, as you could tell, I did a little bit more compression. I did another 2-to-1 compression. I did a fairly quick release, and then I turned on the fast attack, and I just brought down the threshold just so this little yellow light turns on, because I don't want to add too much compression because I don't want to squish the vocals. So I had just a subtle compression. Now I came here to the EQ and I boosted at 16K. I boosted about 3 dB, and that's just to add more high frequencies to the vocals, because when it comes to young pitch vocals, you have to have that nice crispy sound to the vocals. So far the vocals are coming out really good, so we're going to keep going. Now I'm going to add another plugin by Waves also, and that's VQ3. Now the reason I like using the VQ3 when it comes to vocals is because it comes at 12 frequencies. Now if you use the 4, you could go up higher, the VQ4. I like using this one also on vocals. It just depends, but I feel like there's no need to go to 15K because we're already boosted 16. So I'm gonna go a little bit more down to 12, and I'm gonna boost this frequency. Now I'll cut a little bit of the low just to cut. I mean, I don't think it really matters, so we already cut a lot of it. But I also boosted 12K frequency, 1.5 dB, and it's sounding good. Now after that I EQ'd it, I want to do a little bit more compression, and I'm going to be using a stock compressor within Logic, and I'm going to be using the vintage opt. Now the reason I like using this one is just because if you go through them, each compressor is going to give you a different color, a different sound to the vocals. Since I already mixed these vocals, I already know which one sounds the best, and it's the vintage opt. But if you're using Logic, go through the compressors and just click each one, and you will notice the difference in each compressor, and it's helpful knowing what each compressor does to the vocal, so you know what compressor is the right compressor to use when you're mixing vocals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the auto gain off. I'm going to put the distortion on soft just because this is necessary. Trust me. Put the distortion on soft and it's going to make a huge difference. I'm going to do another 2-to-1 compression. I'm just going to bring the threshold down until I get a subtle dB. I'm not going to be aiming for 3 dBs. I'm probably just going to go until the needle moves just a little bit just to get the color out of the compression.
Money on my head, yeah, know they want me dead. Stay with that action, shawty, they just money on my head, yeah, know they want me dead. Stay with that action, shawty, they just all upset, girl, we gon' be alright. Money on my head, yeah, know they want me dead. Stay with that action, shawty, they just all upset, girl, we gon' be alright.
This is with the distortion off, and this is with the soft.
And girl, if it ain't you, cause shawty tryna date me. You is the only one that never tried to play me, girl, we gon' be alright. We gon' be alright. Say there's money on my head, yeah, I know they want me dead. Stay with that action, shawty.
You know, that's good there. Next thing I want to do is add some pitch correction, which is pretty much auto-tune. When it comes to auto-tune, you want to add a good amount of auto-tune where it's noticeable, but it's not overpowering the vocals, where the vocals pretty much there, but you could hear the auto-tune. And the song is in E flat minor, so that's pretty much go to natural minor. And so there's no E flat. The next thing would be D sharp, because it's pretty much the same key, just different note, I guess. Now I'm gonna put the response to 0, and I'm just gonna bring it up.
Money on my head, yeah, I know they want me dead. They ain't with that action, shawty, they just all upset, girl, we gon' be alright. We gon' be alright. And girl, if it ain't you, cause shawty tryna date me. You is the only one that never tried to play me, girl, we gon' be alright. We gon' be alright.
Oh, it's coming out clean. Now the next thing I like using is a plugin by WA Production. It's called Outlaw, and this is pretty much like Vocal Writer from Waves. What it's gonna do, it's gonna pretty much grab the vocal and it's gonna bring it up where it needs to bring up, and it's gonna lower the volume where it needs to be lowered. It's gonna show you this thing right now. So it's gonna grab the dead and it's gonna bring the tail end of dead up, so it pretty much levels it out, and it's very helpful. It's not very noticeable, but in the long run it does make the vocals sound a lot better and consistent. So it's not like, if for example if he were to bring back his head when he was recording, it would grab that tail end and bring it up, so it makes it sound a lot better. Now, one of the last plugins I'm going to be using on it is the S1 Imager by Waves, and that's just pretty much to expand the vocals, make it a little bit wider. As you can tell, it's at 1, but I don't want to do too much, so I'll probably just put it at 110, maybe even 115. Anything past 115 is just gonna widen the vocals too much. You're gonna lose a lot of the fullness and a lot of the presence of like the vocal just being there. Now, of course, you have to add a de-esser, because without a de-esser, you're gonna hear those S's in the track and it's just gonna sound horrible. So please, you start using de-essers.
Girl, we gon' be alright. We gon' be alright.
Now, I'm using Siblings by Waves. This has become my new favorite de-esser. I used to use the regular de-esser from Waves, but since I got this one, this is like my go-to. It's pretty much amazing. Now, what I like to do once I finish mixing the vocals is I like to bust certain plugins. Now, these plugins are gonna add flavor or color to the vocals, and well, it's a delay and reverb, but I specifically chose these reverbs and how much delay I want to be bussed into the vocals, so it just adds a consistent flow to the song. It just pretty much glues everything together and it makes everything sound a lot better. So one of the first plugins I'm gonna bust is a vocal doubler by Isotope. This plugin is dope just because it adds a fullness to the vocal. Now, I put the separation at 50% and the variation at 55%. I'm gonna overdo it at first so you can hear what it does, and I'm just gonna lower it.
Said there's money on my head, yeah, I know they want me dead. They with that action, shawty, they just all upset, girl, we gon' be alright.
Now, it's very subtle, but it does add a fullness to the vocal. So in the long run, the vocal just becomes a lot fuller, and that's what you want. Now, the second plugin that I'm going to be busting is Little Radiator by Soundcloud. I love this preamp. Like, this is my go-to preamp. I use this pretty much on all vocals every time I mix.
Said there's money on my head, yeah, I know they want me dead. They with that action, shawty, they just all upset, girl, we gon' be alright. We gon' be alright.
As you could tell, it made the vocal a lot louder, and that's one of the reasons why I don't really touch the gain when it comes to compression. When I compress, a lot of times a lot of people bring up the gain, but I don't, just because I know in my head that when I put the preamp or the saturation or the distortion, whatever I choose to use, it's gonna bring up the gain. Now, the next thing I like to do is I like using the delay before the reverb. A lot of people use the delay after the reverb. I use it before. It's preference. It's up to you, whatever you like to use. But when it comes to this song, I did the delay before the reverb. Now, I'm gonna add a subtle delay. I'm not gonna add too much delay because I like delaying the hook. I like delaying the ad-libs and the harmonies more, just because those are gonna be moving left to right, and the vocal I just kind of want to stay consistent, but I do add a little bit of delay.
Said there's money on my head, yeah, I know they want me dead. They with that action, shawty, they just all upset, girl, we gon' be alright.
I add enough delay where you could hear it, but it's not overpowering, and I just want pretty much the last words to be delayed. I could automate it and I could sidechain the delay to the vocals, but for this song I didn't do it. Now, lastly, the last thing I did is add some reverb. Now, the first reverb I added is a Little Plate by Sound Toys. This reverb is amazing. Like, this is the perfect reverb, honestly. Like, this goes with everything. The reason I like using this reverb is just because this reverb is pretty much, it's like perfect. This reverb sounds so nice. I don't know what the hell they did, but it just makes it sound amazing. Now, I'm gonna add a good amount of reverb.
Said there's money on my head, yeah, I know they want me dead. They with that action, shawty, they just all upset, girl, we gon' be alright. We gon' be alright.
Now, when it comes to young pinch type vocals, you want to add a lot of space and a lot of reverb, like a good amount of reverb, because his type of music is very like atmosphere, like it's open, it's wide, they're very spacious, and that's what you want to go for. I did EQ the reverb just a little bit. I pretty much cut a lot of the low end, just because when I add the beat to the reverb, I don't want the 808 or the kick or any of the low to muddy up the track, so I pretty much cut the low. I cut a little bit of the highs, not too much, and that's just because too much highs and the reverb will add like a little bit of mud, so I'm trying to avoid that. So I just want the mids and the upper mids to be in the reverb, just because that's where a lot of the vocal sits. That's what I want to sound reverb. I don't even know what the hell. I want that to sound like it has reverb. Now, the last reverb I added is a Space Design. It's called the Mid Reverb. It's a nice haul, 1.7 seconds, and this one sounded dope, so I added it to it.
Said there's money on my head, yeah, I know they want me dead. They ain't with that action, shawty, they just all upset, girl. We gon' be alright. We gon' be alright.
Damn, that sounds nice. Now, this is pretty much how the song is sounding.
Said there's money on my head, yeah, I know they want me dead. They ain't with that action, shawty, they just all upset, girl. We gon' be alright. We gon' be alright. And girl, I finna hate you, cause shawty tryna date me. You is the only one that never tried to play me, girl. We gon' be alright. We gon' be alright.
So that's pretty much how the song is coming out. So far, it's coming out really good. I like how it's coming out. So when it comes to young pinch type vocals, that's what you probably want to aim for. Is just a nice open reverb, open atmosphere, something big, something wide. Make sure the vocals have a nice crispy end. Make sure it's loud enough to punch through the mix. Auto-tune enough so you could hear it, but it's not overpowering. It's up to you, preference. A lot of his songs do have a good amount of auto-tune, some have less. It all depends. For this song, I wanted to add a little bit less than I normally would. I would have added more, but I added how much I added just because it sounded good. That's what I wanted to show you, how to mix young pinch vocals. If you really like the video, I want to remind you to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you stay up to date with the videos I'm going to be posting. Also, leave a comment telling me how you like the song. Check out the song. The link is in the description. Check it out. Now, if you want your song to be mixed and mastered by me, my email is down below in the description. Send me an email and I'll get back to you. Thank you for watching the video. My name is David the Crook. I hope to see you in the next video. Peace.